Hey everybody, this is Dan Lilback, and just following up with everybody on the reports dashboards and the aftermarket interface that we demoed in the sales meeting on Friday. So wanted to give everyone a tutorial of this, some additional information as you'll want to be active in this process and understanding how this works going forward. So when you log into the aftermarket portal, and you can see the web address up here, you are of course on the server on the internet and VPN'd in. So this is a locally hosted website inside the Milacron network, so you will need to be VPN to access this website. Once you log into this website, this will be the splash screen for the aftermarket portal. And then once you're inside there, you'll have the aftermarket interface. So you can select that aftermarket interface, and it'll take you into a separate login screen. And this is where you'll use your E1 password to log in, and we've provided each of you with E1 passwords to log into E1, and simply click the login button and it will validate your E1 login. So now I'm logged into E1. I have access to all the information that I would need to be able to search and create for as I operate in the system. So over on the menu side, on the left side of the screen here, I've got the sales detail, so that's the customer information. I've got a customer search file if I want to search for specific customers. I've got the customer detail file, which will pull up all of the quotes and orders for the specific customer. I've got a quote and order search, as well as a quote and order entry button. So I have multiple forms of detail to get in here. We'll start with the customer search and kind of move through that process. So from a customer search perspective, I can search by name, ship to or the bill to numbers, the long address numbers. More commonly, you guys will not have this information. It's more internal to the call center unless the customer you're dealing with knows their ship to and bill to number information. We've got 4 different address lines to search on. Again, as we clean up our address book, sometimes address line 1 will not have the customer's complete address. You may want to copy and paste that into address lines 2, 3, or 4 and search on that. City, state, zip code, and country all have the ability to search on that. So as you go through this customer search, we'll do a quick search for beach mold. And as I type in beach mold and hit search, it's going to go through the E1 address book, and it's going to pull back all the addresses for beach mold. And as you can see here, I've got quite a list of beach mold addresses. The addresses that are outlined in blue are the customer inactive addresses. CS is a ship to, and those would be the addresses that you would be accessing as you would go through. So I know here that beach mold, a majority of their business operates out of 999 Progress Boulevard in New Albany, Indiana. So I'm going to select this address for beach mold, and I double click on that, and it'll bring me through to the beach mold page. It's currently loading all the open quotes for beach mold. It's opening all the recent orders for beach mold, so I have access to all that information and the details that are sitting there. Again, I've got address information up here. I've got a rolling 12 months sales detail for beach mold as well. So they've got 276 quotes, $441,000 quoted, and 2,000 orders, $668,000 ordered. So I've got all that detail there. Underneath the various bill tos and ship tos are the other ship tos for beach mold. As you can see here, you can select. So if you selected that 999 Progress Boulevard and you actually wanted to look at the beach mold in Emporia, Virginia, you'd be able to select that, and we would load the quotes and orders for the Emporia, Virginia location. You can see the 12-month rolling detail has also updated there, so that information is updated and relevant for that specific ship to. So I'll flip back over to the 999 Progress Boulevard beach mold address, load that information again, and as I go through here, I'll be able to see the various quotes and orders that exist for beach mold. So again, if I need to review this valve or have a specific quote number, I can search for those specific quote numbers, and I can click through this valve and see the detail here. Click through these transducers, this is that large transducer quote for them, or this hub quote. And I've got 12 months of open quotes for beach mold, so all of that information sits here and is detailed out here. So these are open quotes that are not converted for beach mold, and then I've got the converted orders, so the recent orders are converted down here. So if you want to see a list of what's recently shipped, you can see that information as well. So you can see on 8/3, so this is a very recent order. They had a nozzle body that they called in and ordered. So I'm going to click through this quote and provide the detail here. And you can see as I'm opening tabs, it's opening an additional tab on the top. So I've got the sold to and shipped to filled in. I've got the customer PO. This was a test PO that I put in. The machine serial number is a stock. The request date, if you want to update the request date for the customer, and you would on any order, you can change that. Change that with a simple click on the calendar option. If you want to change the ship to contact, this will load all of the address book information for Beach Mold. So that information is all there. If you click on Roger Reekers and click OK, it'll update Roger Reekers as the ship to contact. If you wanted to edit Roger Reekers data, you click on Roger Reekers and you can edit selected. And you can see here I've got phone numbers for Roger and I've got email addresses for Roger. So I have all that information there. To add an email address, to add a phone number, I simply click on the plus sign and I drop that information in there. So from that perspective, again, and when you're updating addresses and details here, you are also updating this live and live in E1. So it's a great option to have. So I'm going to click cancel here because I've already updated Roger Reekers as my guy. From a freight perspective, if you're looking to add a specific freight code or mode of transportation, specifically when the customer is asking for an overnight delivery, a next day air, you've got the information here. This NDA would be the next day air. You'd have a second day air, third day air, and then ground transportation. So you have all of those options to list for the customer as we go through the order process with them, but you would have to select a mode of transportation as you complete an order for the customer. So I'm going to select that this is a next day air order. The customer needs this immediately. It updates that there. And if I were to print this quote out for Roger, I click the print button and it will load a PDF copy of the print in a separate tab. You can see I've got the quote number listed above, and this is -001. I've already loaded this quote previously, so it has the information here. But as you can see, I'm putting a Milacron Aftermarket logo on top. I've got the quote date, the date it actually was quoted, not today's date, the date of the quote, the information about Beach Mold, who asked for the quote, and then you can see here that I've got the $55 unit price for the hub and the packing and handling fee that goes along with that. And we've got a nice ServTech watermark in the background. So if you wanted to save this quote, it's a very simple process. Save it, print out a copy, very easy to do. From a save perspective, this will bring up the similar save box that you're used to dealing with on your laptops and or your Surfaces, and you'll be able to save that to your desktop. You could rename it Beach Mold, save it, and then it's an easy email from that perspective. So I'm going to close this quote and go back into the portal. So I've got that ability. If I was going to convert this quote, I was sitting with the customer and he said, well, I've got a PO for you on this quote. I would change that customer PO number to their PO number, and I'd click convert quote, and I would convert that quote. I'm not going to convert this in this process today because I am on a live quote for Beach Mold, and I don't want to convert that in the system. From a part search perspective, really great functionality here. I've got an option to search various parts, so as I go through, I can look at specific part numbers based on legacy part number, E1 part number. If I have a cross-reference number, such as a vendor number, so if in your FANUC discussions with customers, if you can key in you can key in most FANUC numbers in this cross-reference field, and it'll provide you with the customer detail and an E1 part number about that part. So if I click search here, it's going to search for those parts in the 140 branch plant, which is the aftermarket branch plant. And so it brings up the part information here. It shows the part class of the item, so you know if it's an A, B, C, D, even the Z part, which would be obsolete or E never used. It's got a 14-day lead time. It shows the location of where that part's located, so if you have the ability to be in the shop and go in the warehouse, you'll be able to pull it from that specific location. It shows the total quantity on hand, so we've got 7 available. In this case, the order is for a single, and we show it's a $71 base price. So this is key here too, because this $71 base price, if you notice back on the quote for the customer, this was a $55 part. So they've got a partnership agreement, so we're going through the functionality here to outline the specific partnership agreement for the customer, so we have different prices based on what customers have set up in their ship to and bill to information. So as we go back to this, we show again the branch plan information and the various locations that are on. This is the option to add it to the quote for the customer. So double click here, it'll add it to the quote. The attachments, inside the attachment file, you've got various notes on the ServTech detail. So it shows the hub, it shows some additional information on that. And actually in this scenario, we've got an image of that specific hub. So this will load in a separate page. And as it pulls up here, you'll see the picture of the hub, and there it is, a picture of the hub. I'm going to close this down. And then I also have the ServTech note on here that this item is 1 pound and a 3x3. So for shipping documentation, I've got weights and dimensions as well. So I'm going to clear out of this, and that is basically the order entry process. So essentially we've covered the customer search, the customer detail screen, the quote. Now we're going to click on the Sales tab and go into the detail that exists in there. So as we go into the Sales tab, that Anderson Corporation is the customer that popped up first, and it's all sorted by name in this scenario. So you've got the name of the customer in detail here. If you want to search by a specific customer, each of these tabs are linked, so you can sort by number, so I can sort alphabetically and then also numerically as I go through. And then my option here is to select a specific detail. So at the drop-down box, similar to how you would operate in Excel, you have the option to select a customer detail, or you can key it in. I like the contains to function because it shows that you don't have to be exact when you go through this, but I can select beach mold, as we're on our beach mold kick here today. I'm going to filter for that, and you see it brings up all the beach mold information, and this is all based on the 999 Progress Boulevard as our main address, and I've got all my quote value and order value for beach mold, so I can sort those and look through those various quotes. And as I select here, it'll load the quote data below there, so it shows here on this scenario, this is that large transducer order that they have. Obviously we need to bring some in stock here, but it shows the in-stock rate of what's going on with those quotes. And as I click through some other quotes, it'll show details related to availability. So as you can see, these washers exist. The number of washers they're requesting 24, and there's 22 available. They're requesting 6, and there's 2 available here. And then these have some negative stocking as well. So this was a larger order as well for beach mold. Here's some other orders. So again, that caution sign just represents that we don't have the full quantity that's available for them, but we do have some available. And when we go through and double click on an order, it actually loads that order in there. So I was on that non-inventory item order. If that was something that they wanted to print out, we could go through that same functionality of clicking the print button and loading that level of detail. So as I scroll down here through the various orders for beach mold, we'll be able to see what's available, what's not available. So again, some of these parts are available on the shelf, some of these parts are not available on the shelf. You can see the various orders that are taking place here. Here's an item where all of these are available, and again, as you hover over, you see the total quantity available. So they're asking for 1, and there's 26 available. Over on the right side, you've got the customer. Who was the customer that created that quote? A double click on the email will load it in your email, so it's something you're easily able to follow up on and click through and quote. From an outside sales perspective, this is obviously one of Rich's accounts, so we've got a picture of him. Inside, Keith Glover owns that, and the last time someone updated this quote was Justin Manning who did that. So you've got phone number and email information if you need to reach out to them and find out what's going on there. So from this perspective, guys, if you're following up with the customer and add a note, so I'll add this test note here. I'll add the note, and you can see it adds that note. So it shows activities for this quote, and then as you click over, it'll show recent activities for the customer as well. So you'll have that level of detail. So that basically completes the overview of the Aftermarket Interface and the report dashboards built for the Milacron Aftermarket team. And again, guys, this was Dan Lilback, Director of Customer Service for Milacron Aftermarket. My phone number is 513-536-2267, and my email address is dan_lilback@milacron.com if there are any questions. But I appreciate your time today, guys, and if there's any questions or any other comments, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.